IVM.
We are going up. 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 Hello and welcome to episode 54. Bloody hell. Of Football Should Ball. And if anyone didn't get that reference, either you're a first-time listener or you don't know football, because the greatest team on the planet has gone up to the greatest league on the planet after Fulham were promoted last week from the Championship to the Premier League by winning the playoffs. So, which effectively means, guys, Shivram, it's damn weird that first place in the Championship gets a trophy. Second place gets nothing. And this playoff ka winner, who could even be the sixth place team in the league, gets another trophy.
Yeah, I think that's, first of all, congratulations for Fulham to making it to the greatest league in the world, as you called it. So at least you have decided that for us. Thank you. This was a long-standing argument of what we should or should not cover, but that is now closed. But yeah, it was so weird to see them lift the playoff trophy. Like, I think it's more of a semblance of an achievement. Like Arsenal should get a fourth place trophy. I've been campaigning it for the longest time. I also have a petition on change.org. If anyone would like to sign it, I think fourth place should have a trophy. But yeah, it's really weird. Sapre, tell us. Oh, sorry. We are talking about trophies. We'll come back to you later.
Oh, wow. wow. But I'm extremely happy Fulham has come up. It just, Mourinho has one more team to lose to. So I'm just happy for that. And fourth place trophy not happening, dude. At least start finishing fourth. You know, there's a trophy named for you guys. It's called the FA Cup. Right? Keep winning it. Keep being happy.
What is that trophy called, which is named after United? Exactly. That
is Okay, so but what else on this episode? We'll have mainly, of course, the Champions League round of 16 matches that happened. We look forward to the quarterfinals as well. We'll also maybe have a word on the Europa League, and I don't think much else because there's no other football happening. Oh yeah, and Sari is sacked. So see you on the other side.
Hello everybody, welcome to another amazing week on the IVM Podcast Network. If you're not following us on social media, please do. We're IVM Podcast on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. We'd like to thank our sponsors this week, Paytm Money. So it's been a really fun week this week. We've had a great episode with Anand Nilakantha on Cyrus Says. Anand was one of the writers of Bahubali, and it's done some really fun stuff since that. Ashish Vidyarthi also had a really good episode on his show, Begin the Journey. Please do check that out. You do know Yuddha is back, right? Definitely check it out if you haven't. Yuddha is our show about Indian ancient warfare. It's hosted by Anirudh Kanisetti and Aditya Ramanathan. Really great show. You should check that out for sure. And oh yeah, I forgot, Rishikesh was on the network as well. He was on Absolutely Right with Aditi Sarana. Do definitely check that out. With that, let's get you back to the show.
So after those messages from Amit, we're back to episode 54 of Football Should Ball. Now I keep calling it 54. I don't have a name because I initially thought Chappan was 54. So I thought we'll name it Ab Tak Chappan, but you guys have educated me before the episode that apparently it's not. So we'll figure out a name. Yeah.
You're just playing into the hands of I don't remember that one gentleman who called you out on Twitter and said, no prizes for guessing what episode 56 will be. Sounds like you are going exactly in that direction. You're literally counting it down to till you can call the episode of Tak Chappan.
This is undue pressure that Karthik is under. I was supposed to come up with a name for this episode and the document and the lineup and things to talk about, which obviously I haven't. But it just turned out to everything fell in place because Fulham came back to the Premier League and Karthik had a chance. I had a chance or an alibi to ask Karthik to lead the episode. So we'll come up with something for 54.
We'll figure it out. We have been doing this. If it's 54, that means, math would suggest that we've been doing this for a year. I wouldn't know the exact date, but that's how calendar works. So, and non-stop at that. Like even the players had a 3-month break because of the pandemic. But we, the three of us, Sapre, Shiva and Karthik, have not had a break from football. But we keep giving you top quality content. I don't know why I'm making a presentation about.
Yeah, who's buying?
We'll have to heavily promote this piece.
Yeah, okay, but there's something interesting. Before we get to the Champions League, now you explain to me, one of y'all work in extremely big companies, y'all are in high positions. Now explain to me how a manager who's worked for 25 years gets replaced after winning the league by an absolute novice whose only achievement is taking his UEFA coaching badges. That means now I'm a D-licensed coach, I should also get some Bangalore FC job now.
Oh wow! For a moment I thought you were talking about Solskjaer, but guess I think he's talking about Sarri and the fact that he got sacked. The night after they lost, or the morning after in Italy, I don't know how long it took for them to actually come to the decision. But so weird, not to just like have you see like let you exit the one Champions League game, which has obviously happened after such a long time, and the next day you don't have a job. I really feel sorry for him.
Yeah.
he's gone through this before with Chelsea, so I'm sure he used to. उसका contract ही 1 साल का होगा.
Yeah, no, but I think the Chelsea one, why it was different is because Juventus came calling. I don't think Chelsea may have decided to sack him, but before that decision could be made, it's a far bigger club that came calling for Mauricio Sarri, and he was never going to say no to Juventus. But Sudham, you mentioned the game, and we saw, of course, there was an absolutely horrendous penalty given to Lyon. Lyon were obviously leading from the first leg 1-0, which happened 4 months ago. They got an awful penalty, which meant that Juventus and Cristiano Ronaldo in particular had to score 3 goals, and he almost did it, no?
He almost did, although I didn't see anyone support him really in that entire team. Such a weird thing, right? Like Ronaldo has done it before, like he's rescued his team in quarters and semis and finals. But this time he had absolute no support from players around him. But what still stays with me is the fact that I don't know if you remember when Juventus lifted the Scudetto, right? You could see there were pictures of Sarri, with a bottle of champagne and lighting a cigarette, as is so typical of Sarri. Cut to 2 weeks later, has it been 2 weeks? And now he's out of a job. So Ronaldo was the only person who could have saved him, and I think Ronaldo was the only person who could have broken him. And I mean, such power on such strong shoulders didn't actually come through. So weird.
Yeah, it's fair that people will take a lot of joy in the fact that Ronaldo is out of the Champions League. But looking at it on that day, if Dybala was fit, maybe it would have been a different story. But Ronaldo did all he could. He scored 2 goals. One was a penalty. One was an excellent shot from outside the box. And nobody else contributed. Yeah, I mean, I remember Shivram messaging after about 70 minutes of the match. He's like, "Damn, that's the first time I'm seeing Higuain." Apparently, he was on the pitch the entire time.
He was. It's so unfortunate for someone like Ronaldo who missed out on the Champions League, glory and trophy last season. Who was really looking forward to get it this time, and it's very unfortunate for somebody like him. I hope he's happy with being with Juventus in spite of the rumors of him moving to PSG for the glories. But I hope under Pirlo he may find that a good team around him and can help him achieve the Champions League. 2 years for Ronaldo outside Champions League is just very difficult to just get it. For Messi, it's happening with him for a while.
I think this is the only thing left for Ronaldo, right? The Champions League, because then he would have won 3 titles with 3 different teams in 3 different countries, and the Champions League with 3 different teams. Now that I think is the crowning glory. That's what he's waiting for.
Yeah, the only player to do that was Clarence Seedorf. Who to win it with 3 different teams in 3 different leagues. Ronaldo hasn't done that, so I think that bugs him. And he's a big game player. I mean, the Champions League is why he went to Juventus. Is why Juventus bought him in the first place. And these rumors about PSG, they're weird, but they're originating from France football. I don't know if they have ties to PSG, but I think this is a bit of smoke without real fire.
I have a mad stat that Ronaldo has scored 1.5% of all Champions League goals ever scored. That sounds like our increment also, but anyway.
Yeah, so I'll add to that. Okay, so he's had about, I think, 130 odd, but he scored more goals in the knockouts of the Champions League than every other player except 2 who are Raul and Messi. So he scored more goals in just the knockout phases of the Champions League, which is
insane.
Crazy.
Is one of his records on the thread with Robert Lewandowski still going to play the Champions League? Will he be able to score those many goals? From the match we saw last night, or just read about last night, because who would watch Chelsea being beaten
by Bayern?
Potential finalists. So probably he has a chance to get over Ronaldo this season.
So here's the thing. I mean, I'll agree with you. Robert Lewandowski is the best striker in the world, best number 9 in the world.
I don't think he's like that.
But he's not going to play Chelsea every week, is he? Like, he's not going to have a chance against, I don't know, who are their defenders?
Barcelona are going to get jammed when Lewandowski comes on. Please, did you see them play against Napoli last night?
Yeah, okay, I just realized who their next opponent is now.
They played Barcelona.
Bayern is playing some outstanding football this time.
Yeah, and if you had watched the Barcelona game, yes, of course, Messi was fantastic, no two ways about it. But would have also seen is Napoli held the ball for the longest time. That is very different from what you've heard and seen of Barcelona in the years go by. They had very little to contribute for long stretches of time. And Napoli were just trying to, build inroads. Even in the first 10 minutes, Napoli could have gone ahead twice. They didn't convert. And if they would have converted, completely different scene altogether, because then they would have gotten an away goal. But yeah, I think Napoli, which are placed 7th in the Serie A, are giving Messi and co a tough fight. Like, let's be honest, it was a fairly tough fight. Barcelona made sure they converted. Napoli didn't, but that is also what big teams do. They convert when it matters the most. But no bones about the fact that Napoli held Barcelona for the first 10 minutes, and it could have gone either way from then on had Napoli scored. So if this is the team that is going to face Bayern, I am expecting a goal fest which is one-sided.
And don't forget that one goal which Barcelona earned, which was a stupid foul on Koulibaly, or foul by Koulibaly. That was ridiculous. I mean, let's admit to it. Yeah, Barcelona, I think, gets their way around certain decisions in certain matches. Let's just accept, just like United does. Right? I'm okay.
Yeah, between penalties and coming from Sapre, I'm guessing he's an expert on the subject. So let's take his word for that.
Yeah, so Bayern are going to face Barcelona. Lyon are going to face the side that dominated Real Madrid, to be extremely honest. I mean, they were well worth their 2-1 victory, which made it 4-1 aggregate. Manchester City, of course. Is this Guardiola's chance now to finally win a Champions League without Lionel Messi?
I don't know. Maybe if he doesn't meet Bayern on the way and Bayern somehow don't show up, then it is. I think Pep squad is number 2 on my list of teams which are more likely to win the Champions League.
So who is number 1? Bayern.
Of course, it's Bayern. Has to be Bayern. There is no. I mean, make no bones about it. Unless something tremendously different from the obvious happens, I would have expected, Napoli to put up a better fight. I would have hoped Juventus would have gone through. But now that hasn't happened. I think Bayern have the best shot, followed by City. What I do look forward to is the Atletico game. I think that will be fantastic. I think that will be like a thriller because it's the game of the average teams. And being an Arsenal supporter, that appeals to me more than the goal fest.
So it's Atletico versus Leipzig. Leipzig without Timo Werner, who's sitting and training with Frank Lampard. They're probably unlearning every good skill that he's learned in his entire career.
I want to have my say on this, but I'm really interested in the Europa League, and you would know why. So I'm not worried about players from Germany who already come to the Champions League or to the Premier League. I'm looking for that Inter versus Bayer Leverkusen match, or Kai Havertz to see what he can do, and maybe Chelsea to buy him. What's going to happen?
Kai was good against Rangers, I remember. But then again, Bayer were already leading by 3-1. So yeah.
I'm so happy. Whatever be the topic, Shivram, you and I managed to drag this competition down to average teams and Europa League from Champions League.
It's like, I mean, Hamilton and Bottas will be in the top 3. Na? Let's talk about where did Ocon and Albon finish. Let's talk about those. That is where we are.
I mean, if you have to mention the race, then Max Verstappen. Yeah, I mean, that was so good. That was so good. Yeah,
that was such a great strategy throughout. Which I think is what Arsenal were missing before Arteta, and now Chelsea are missing with Lampard. So that is what I'm looking for, because it's more than just the one lap. It's a long stretch, and we'll see that unfold in the coming season. I'm really excited to see Chelsea come apart, even though after they bought so many people, and Arsenal stole Willian under their noses.
So has that happened?
Yeah, Willian and also Pedro, both of them released letters. I think today was that day. पहले बोला था calendar पर आज letter भेजना है.
ऐसा embargo था. But again, that is just pure dribble, long story short. But what it does mean is that Willian is now coming to Arsenal on a free transfer. On a 100k a week is what I read, which is okay. I mean, it is Arsenal. We're letting people go, but we're keeping the team together. I think it's a good, smart deal, even though he's 33. If he's going to be a servant for the next 1-2 years, I think he has the stamina. You've seen him play for Chelsea. Even without a proper forward, he has been able to,
And you enjoy watching him play, particularly since the restart. You have really enjoyed watching him play for Chelsea.
He's done really well. He's actually he's really brought the whole team together. which I think was missing at Arsenal, where you needed someone in the middle to, put their leg out, take a shot when needed. So I think he'll be the missing piece of the puzzle, even though he's 33, 34. Maybe in the next year and a half, we'll have a little better time with finances, and then we can go back out in the market and buy someone who's a little more overpriced than a free transfer.
I like how you're placing all your bets on Willian, considering Lacazette and Aubameyang want to move on from Arsenal.
Yeah. But aren't there... isn't aren't they saying that Aubameyang is staying, and once he confirms that he's staying, they'll let Laka go to Atletico? At least that's what I read today.
Yeah, that seems like a fair deal, because Lacazette has also had limited game time. Now, I don't say that Lacazette is a bad striker. He's a very good striker.
You're getting 30 million for him. I think it's a good deal.
Let's take it. Let's accept it. Let's move on. And it's not the best market also. Plus, considering the fact that he is basically a discount Benzema and would fit right into the Atletico Madrid model, which currently has Morata, is I think not a bad deal for either.
And can have James Rodriguez if the reports suggest that if that's true.
Yeah, I don't even remember. Wow. I don't even remember how long ago.
Weird Atletico Madrid side that would be.
I saw James Rodriguez show up like after the World Cup, and maybe that one season for Madrid where he did a part performance. When have you last seen him play properly?
Who, Bale are we talking about?
When did you see Bale in the World Cup, Ray?
He refused to travel for this match because he knew he was not in the match squad. He said,
ठीक है ना, घर से देखो ना, क्या दिक्कत है?
Exactly.
Sapre, I want to tell you a story. Now let me know if you have heard a tale like this before, okay? A big club in England looks to buy a player. Okay, they have been quoted a price by the selling club. They say, no man, this price is too expensive, and they put in a bid for half the value of that player. They stand their ground and they're like, no, we are never going to pay. This club will never be bullied into paying so much money in this current market for a certain player of top quality. And then 6 months later, 3 months later, 1 month later, maybe even a year later, they end up with their tail between their legs, coughing up every single penny that the selling club asked for, and the player finally arrives at this club.
Which player are we talking about? I have a bunch of the options. Who could fit the bill?
I am just like reminiscing history of Manchester United from 2009 to 2019. It could have been any player. Who are we talking about?
So here, I was referencing Sancho, but going towards Bruno Fernandes and Harry Maguire before that. But they just pay the damn money, man. You're telling me Manchester United doesn't have money? Come on.
वो EMI कैसे भरना है, हफ्ता कैसे भरना है, वो उस पे डिबेट चल रहा है.
But Sapre, haven't you bought the new jersey for the next season? Or if you haven't, you better be buying it. Yeah.
No, I'm just waiting for somebody to gift it to me.
Amazon Prime Day का wait कर रहा है वो. अच्छा, for everyone, the jersey that reminds me, we've had the opportunity to send our FPL fantasy winner. Football season. His gift. It's not a gift, it's an award for winning the league. Congratulations, Anurag, your Chelsea jersey, who you do support. And surprisingly, his team name was called the new number 10 Willian. I mean, condolences and congratulations in the same sentence. We have taken Willian, but you have taken the jersey. So hope you wear it bright. Please tweet to us on Twitter. Use #FootballShootball, and we'd love to chat.
So this Chelsea jersey is the one with 3, right?
Yeah, this is the latest one. This is the one with 3.
Are you sure? Okay, but are you sure it's the latest one? Because last I heard the sponsor is changing to 7-Up for Chelsea. Yeah?
Oh, nice. Karthik is at a field event with them. Very nice.
You crack at Pizza Hut. No wonder you support Fulham. No, United. But we have the money. We're trying to raise more money by cancelling Phil Jones' operation. So no kharcha on his operation anymore.
What operation does he need?
He needs operation every year.
But for what?
Some knee operation. मतलब क्या Phil Jones है यार, कुछ तो गड्डी का ही होगा. And United have also said ये बाई का भी we can't do much every time he gets injured. So आप देख लो इनको offload. So we're trying to get more money. So that Juan Mata can be paid double the amount of wages he's paid right now to write nice blogs.
तुम क्या बात कर रहे हो यार? तुम तो 2 ऑपरेशन से तुम्हारे वहाँ पे तो तुम 80 मिलियन स्पेंड कर रहे थे डिफेंडर पे, यहाँ पे तुम्हें 50 का एक ऑपरेशन कर रहा है.
This is angst. Just pay the damn money for Sancho and just get him in. and just try and make the team look a little more competitive on paper.
But why do you want to ruin one more player's career?
Hey, he says he wants to come. Okay, that's not on us.
He's English.
And
He doesn't know
and
better.
the best part, Shivram, also is that if he goes for that whatever 100 million that they're quoting, Manchester City, his previous club, get about 15 to 20 million off that deal.
Oh, nice. So nice. Yeah, you're not just paying them, you're paying your neighbors also. Noisy
No,
neighbors.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you what, when Manchester City has such low wealth to spend, they don't know where to spend. They spent 10 million on Angelino to get him back from Netherlands, and then loan him again to Germany in 6 months. So that's 15 million. They don't know what to do. लेकिन विशाल भारद्वाज या कौन संजय लीला बंसाली को तुम बोलोगे तुम ऐसा 5 करोड़ का मूवी बनाओ तो नहीं बना पाएंगे ना वो लोग.
हाँ नहीं वो तो we agree because you've already paid Moyes and Louis van Gaal na to leave, so we know how much money.
And Mourinho.
And Mourinho तो बोला भैया प्लीज पैसा ले लो चले जाओ, हम नहीं हम देख लेंगे तुम्हारा Amazon Prime वो डॉक्यूमेंट्री हम सब देख लेंगे, तुम टेंशन मत लो.
So any last words on any Europa League hopes or Champions League hopes?
No, Europa League hopes तो हो गया ना अभी. FA Cup we won, we're in the Europa League, that is only enough.
So that also means, but then Wolves, who I think by the time you hear this recording, Wolves versus Sevilla would have happened. So Wolves may or may not be in this competition. But if they are, this is technically their last hope of reaching the Europe, which is the Champions League, by winning the Europa League. So that is something to look forward to. United should beat Copenhagen. Who else do we have? We have Inter Milan. Hope for a United-Inter final. No, you'll have Sanchez there. You'll have who else? Lukaku, of course, and there's one more, Ashley Young, playing there.
Nice.
Yeah.
There will also be Eriksen playing for that team, so it would be like in a Premier League match. But would be a good final. Would be a good final if that happens. It doesn't matter. United's going to win the final. So it's okay.
But,
With these players in the other team.
We'll win this.
Your Brandon Williams is going to be amazing in left back. Wait and watch when he gets rounded.
Got new contract. Got his dad a new car. United was so happy. Gave him a new contract also.
Very nice.
That's sweet, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. Especially when they're sponsored by Chevrolet. गाड़ी तो मिल सकती है ना.
Like he's probably driving a Beat, I guess.
Transformers की गाड़ी है. It can't transform into a better club, but.
So, but I switched on Netflix the other day. What is this new Transformers? Some cartoon animated TV show. It looked pretty decent, interesting.
That is the original Transformers.
So yeah. So did they just make it, or is that some old cartoon that they have just brought it back?
No. So there was an old cartoon, which is the anime, which was the basis for the Transformers movie franchise, and now they've redone it. So it's a refurbished, updated Transformers.
Yeah, because it looked pretty cool. Yeah.
It is pretty cool. I highly recommend watching everything on Netflix all the time.
Yeah, I'm currently watching Sons of Anarchy though. That's
Sons of Anarchy I stopped watching in 2009 when FX as a channel used to be on TV.
Yeah.
That is the time when this used to come. But yeah, there's Charlie Hunman also in Transformers.
Oh yeah, that's right. No, you can literally in Sons of Anarchy, you can see that he's learned how to act during the show. Like in season 1 when you look at him, it's bad.
I'm not going to, so spoiler alert, but at the end of second season, उसका बच्चा चुरा के ले जाते हैं.
Yeah, but that I have not seen a shittier ending to a season 10. I actually like the show. Like it's fine with all this macho nonsense that happens.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I like how we successfully just migrated into another podcast altogether.
Yeah, so welcome to Geek Fruit. Now someone has to take up the what is that? Take up the
mantle.
Let's take up the mantle. Ji?
This isn't Antakshari.
Acha, okay, cool. So let's take a quick break and we'll be right back after these messages.
Advertising is dead. Yep, you heard me right. Advertising is dead. We're all in the content business now. Let's not call it news, TV, radio, etc., etc. It's all content, and we're in the middle of this weirdly exciting phase where all the borders and lines that have been drawn over decades has been swept away by this lovely thing called the internet. We're a show where we don't dwell on just the stuff that is now, but rather the wider stuff about advertising, media, content, and the whole goddamn circus surrounding it. Tune in every Tuesday for our weekly unboxing of the mystery box we used to call advertising. I'm Varun Dugirala, co-founder and content chief at The Glitch, and this is my new podcast, Advertising is Dead.
He scores with his left, he scores with his right. Joe Bryan scores twice on one Wembley night.
So this is going to be a recurring episode, huh? He's going to sing this throughout the whole of the next season. I think my best memory of Arsenal Fulham is when Nasri scored that brilliant goal. Karthik, you remember we watched it?
Whenever Arsenal plays Fulham, I get scared because Arsenal suddenly becomes, I don't know, Barcelona. Like in those,
No, that's a very different. Yeah, that's very different from the usual form when they become Fulham.
Yeah, okay,
Karthik, who are the interesting players to watch out for apart from Mitrovic?
I mean, yeah. So Shivram and I were discussing this about Mitrovic. Imagine him with VAR. Yeah, I mean, literally in that playoff final, he held one guy by the throat and shoved him on the floor. Like, how is that not any card? Imagine this guy playing with VAR, man. He's going to be banned for like 1/3 of the season. But there's one thing I have to say. But now this time, my mind is it's calm because the last 2 times we've been in the Premier League, in each of the last 2 seasons, we've had a total of 6 managers, which is 3 each. Both times we've conceded the most goals that were conceded in the Premier League, and both times we finished 19th. So I think apart from finishing dead last, the only way is a little higher.
That's some wonderful.
Yeah, consistent. Yeah. Who says you don't have a trophy, Karthik? These are trophies that you should cherish.
Yeah,
but we'll have these consistent trophies.
Yeah, but we'll see how it.
No, but seriously, who are the players to look out for?
I guess anyone.
If an article from the Premier League comes out, we would want your expert opinion.
I think Josh Onoma is good. The guy from Tottenham who they exchanged Ryan Sessegnon for. He's decent. That the guy Michael Hector who plays at centre back, he's good. But anyway, all this can happen during our Premier League preview for 2020-21 when Shivram will tell you who exactly to select for your fantasy Premier League from Fulham. And don't say no one, it can't be no one, you have to pick someone.
Wait, I do have a question. What happened to Brian Ruiz? I thought he was a really good player. He was at Fulham, right?
Yeah, but that was in the previous stint in the Premier League, which was around 6 years ago.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Yeah.
So he's obviously since moved on or started a family or something.
Yeah, probably. He's living a family life, I guess.
Does Anthony Knockaert play for Fulham?
But they just keep him in the championship now. Just let him be there. Like from whatever I've seen of his, I think he should stick. He's a good championship player. Stick to Anyway, but it'll be fun. Leeds will also be fun to watch. What else do we have to discuss? Of course, next week when we come back, we'll have an idea of who the semi-finalists are for both the Champions Leagues and the Europa Leagues. So that's something exciting to look forward to. We have only, Shivram, you were telling us, no? What is the date that the Premier League restarts?
I think it's on the 13th of September. Isn't what they voted for? Or maybe it could be the end of September.
No, 13th of September.
13th of September, yeah.
Wow, so that's a month away. Damn.
Yeah, bang then, IPL also starts, EPL also starts. I think we're in for a flurry of action.
Yeah, but what about the other more important leagues? La Liga, Serie A, no idea.
But you said the best league in the world is starting then, so everyone will follow suit, it's fine. They're all coming to the EPL.
La Liga will start when Messi feels that this Barcelona team is good enough to compete, so he'll take as much time to build the transfer window.
So you're not buying separate the Messi to Inter Milan rumours?
No, I don't think he's moving to Inter Milan. Yeah? No, I don't think he's looking forward to playing with Lukaku so much that he's going to move to. And with Sanchez,
I don't think.
I
trusted Messi to not move at all throughout his career, and but unlike Maldini, he doesn't have international honours.
I mean, Maldini played for 50 years or something he played for. At least it feels like it.
I think the commentator said yesterday that they spoke about Maradona because the Napoli-Barcelona match incident. And they said that Maradona took an average Argentinian side to win the World Cup, and Messi has played with some.
And did you realize that commentator was trying to push that point? Yeah, I think his co-commentator wasn't really agreeing with him, but he kept repeating it.
Yeah, that sounds like me.
Republic family.
Okay, so what else? What else is happening in the world of football? Do we have anything else to discuss? No.
That was quick.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't think of anything else. Congratulations to the sides that made it into the last 8 of both the Champions League and the Europa League. Congratulations to Sarri for winning Serie A and getting 10 million pounds, euros, whatever the currency is, to now sit at home and smoke your cigarettes. We need to do 2 things before we end, guys. Sapre, you said that you'll come up with a name for the episode. Okay? So I'm giving you 3 minutes to think about that. Okay. Until then, though, we'll do Champions League predictions. We won't do Europa League at this time because the matches would have taken place by the time you hear this episode. But we'll do Champions League quarterfinal predictions. Shivram, Atalanta versus PSG.
I really like Atlanta from what I've seen, but I think this will be a PSG 2-1. And the fact is that it's just the one game, right? It's not a two leg,
Right.
so it's just the one game knockout. So I'm going PSG 2-1. Let's do actually 4-3. It'll be lots of goals, but PSG will win.
Okay, so PSG 4-3. Sapre, do you concur?
And I'm really rooting for Atlanta.
Yeah.
It's going to be fun to see. It's an open Champions League now with Madrid and Juventus, like two strong teams that have gone out. So why not? Why not someone like an Atlanta Como? And it's okay. PSG are used to lose at this stage, so they won't feel as bad. I mean, United knocked them out at one point in time, so it's okay. Atlanta.
So anyone can, clearly.
Yeah. So everybody can.
Yeah. So, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm with you. I'm on the Bergamo train as well. Atlanta to go through. The next match, Atletico Madrid, Leipzig. Is anyone giving Leipzig and Timo Werner a chance?
Just because he beat Mourinho's Tottenham? Yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah, I think Atletico will steamroll Leipzig.
Okay, yeah, same here. So we're all going with Atletico. The next quarterfinal, this should be an easy one as well. Manchester City versus Lyon.
City,
See
5-0.
see the team that they beat.
Yeah. And probably,
Why?
I kept this for the last, but after going by both your comments during the episode opener, again, I don't think you're not going to have too much arguments about Bayern Munich versus Barcelona.
I think Barcelona also doesn't have an argument as the funny one.
Yeah.
I think 7 Up will
Bayern
have to
Munich.
distribute its marketing efforts between Chelsea and Barcelona. That's what's going to happen.
It's interestingly in 2013 when these two sides met, when Bayern went on to win the Champions League, it was a two-legged affair. I think in the semi-finals, Bayern Munich won that 7-0 on aggregate.
Well, there you go. I mean, if history doesn't repeat itself, I will be surprised.
Okay, so there you have our predictions. I think we've all agreed on pretty much everything except PSG Atlanta. What else? The Europa League we'll discuss next week. Sapre, I need a name for the episode, otherwise we can't close. We'll have to keep talking.
I would want to say I have a name, but I don't. But I also don't want to continue talking.
But you mentioned some Sanjay Leela Bansali, so we'll make some long drawn-out connection because you mentioned Bansali and some part of this episode.
No, I'm going to leave it to the low-hanging fruit because, United. So I'm going to leave it with sorry bhai because sorry. Fun is the worst kind of humor you can do. So let's get to that. Sorry bhai.
Fun is the lowest.
That's nice. Yeah, that's nice. That's nice. And yeah, Shivram was punning about sorry at the start of the episode as well. So we thought of this before you even came on air. Okay, listener? Like there was.
Yeah. Cool. Well, this was awesome. Thank you so much, guys. I love to speak to you on Sunday nights. It's my favorite thing to do after not doing anything. So if you like this podcast, don't forget to check out other interesting podcasts on the IVM network. You can listen to us on the IVM Podcast app or ivmpodcast.com. You can also follow us on our social media handles. We are at IVM Podcast on Twitter and Instagram. If you want to reach out to me, I'm Fickleberry Hun on Twitter and Instagram. That's Huckleberry Finn, but Fickle.
If you want to reach out to me, I am Sapre on Twitter and GSapre on Instagram.
You can reach out to me at iRant, which is IYERANT on Twitter and Instagram. This is Football Should Ball. Recognize.
Beta, did you know 79% of all scientists in NASA are Indian only?
देखो इंडिया में टैक्स सिर्फ मिडिल क्लास भरती है. Everyone is just enjoying free यार.
आजकल के youngsters are only interested in partying and enjoying. उनको देश की पड़ी ही नहीं है.
बेटा तुम बस शादी कर लो, उसके बाद तो you can enjoy life like anything.
I will tell you what this country needs. This country needs 15 years of dictatorship. That is the only way to become a superpower. See the Chinese, how much they've progressed.
सुनो तुमने ये WhatsApp forward देखा?
So what's common between all of these statements?
They're all absolutely rubbish.
Fake WhatsApp forwards that spread like wildfire.
And statements that defy any logic.
We are here to debunk them all.
We're your family WhatsApp group's worst nightmare. We're what happens when you read a book.
Basically, we're just a bunch of guys who want to cut through the bullshit of everyone saying this, how it won't be true.
So that the next time someone confidently squeezes out some WhatsApp or Twitter BS, you will look them dead in the eye and go, Uncle, please sit.
So join me, Joel,
and me, Tushar,
every Mondays for a fresh new episode of Uncle, Please Sit.
Are you looking for India's most awesome cricket podcast? Are you now tired of listening to the same old guys drone on about cricket everywhere? Edges and Sledges is a weekly cricket podcast hosted by 3 fans of the game, Varun, DJ, and myself, Ashwin. It was established in early 2018, has over 60 episodes now, and is of course now proud to be on the IVM Podcast Network. Each week, we get together from 3 different time zones, the USA, the UK, and Singapore, and we talk about things from the world of cricket, with a focus on Indian cricket. We often interview special guests from all around the world, including former cricketers and cricket media personalities. So check out Edges and Sledges, the cricket podcast, now on the IVM Network.